did a live on that when I got home from Arkansas. And we set this grid up, and then we did 19 days of abundance. We're going to continue that 19 days right now. But I am going to take most of this out and then redo the grid. And it's going to have a lot of heart. How funny is that? It's going to be, I'm going to do a moon in a heart in the middle of this moon. And then the ancestral garden is over on the sun. So there actually is a moon and a sun in here. We have a full solar eclipse happening with this new moon on top of a 6 planetary alignment and the meteor shower. And all of that happening at one time. So we've had just a lot of planetary energy. We've had a lot of solar flare energy, and we have had a lot of combustible energy out on the planet. And some of us have been able to feel that or access that both inside of our own lives as a mirror and outside. And so I'm not the only one talking about this energy feeling very combustible and volatile. And so this new moon is in Leo, and Jupiter has just moved into Leo. And 3 of the outer planets are retrograde: Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune, I believe. And we are in Leo season. And Leo is the heart chakra of the zodiac. It really is. It has the potential for that. But the dark side of Leo is about as dark as it sort of gets when it comes to externalizing pain on other people. And for me, the shadow side of Leo is the narcissistic patriarch. Not everybody has to agree, but that's for me is the shadow side. Jupiter expands all energies that are being emitted, and you're not in astrology is a map. It's cartography. It's not something you're in charge of. It's going to happen whether or not you love and light it or not. And so we are going through what we're going through for a reason. However, we're tipping the scales on some things, I believe. And the big scale we're tipping is consciousness itself. And what makes us real uncomfortable when we actually step fully into consciousness and actually look at what those masters were here to teach, we have to let go of power over dynamics. And religion is a power over dynamic. And so it's a real interesting time to be a human, even inside of modality, because it's not that modality completely shatters, it just becomes part of the story. And throughout human history, things always become part of the story. Humans don't stop evolving just because somebody says, oh, we want to slow down and go backwards. And we do have these outer planets retrograde right now, which means that they appear to be going backward. Reminder is that nothing actually does. So the appearance out of outer world of things going backwards, well, we're about to walk across that bridge, so to speak. So, as I choose to set the crystals in a certain way, the biggest thing I'm asking for is that we stop repeating the pattern just because the pattern's always been the pattern. I've been talking about that for a hot minute now. I'm real tired of the argument that it's always been that way, so it has to stay that way. First of all, most of the big epochic shifts in human history had more to do with the earth and what she did than anything else. And so pay attention. There's fire everywhere. There's fire energy everywhere. And so you're not responsible in most cases. You're not responsible for starting those fires, but there's fire everywhere. We can argue and shout all day on what caused it, and it actually doesn't get us anywhere, because it is not the argument. The argument is an argument for argument's sake, and that energy, that's the stuff that we're seeing in algorithmic hell all across social media right now. Um, and the kind of narcissistic energy around that, and even the things that people are standing up for, the patriarchal narcissism around fighting for an old way of being when the old way of being wasn't loving, when the old way of being wasn't reciprocal and it didn't have balance. And what we have right now, throughout the world, but we live here, so I'm usually talking to people in the United States, is not balanced. You can't have one percenters in the world and be in a situation of balance when that business, and the business of being human, is currently run on that energy. It has nowhere to go but failure, because it isn't balanced. And so eventually that dam will break. It will have very little to do with anything that you've ever done in your life. And you will be here to witness what comes after. And as always has been the cases in these times, we, the people, have come forward to build the new way. And so we, the people energy right now, is going to become much stronger on this planet. It's not even originating here. Look at Iran. Look at the number of people actually in the streets in Iran. Look at what Greenland did when their sovereignty was threatened by the United States of America. Um, Look at the people marching. Look at Minneapolis. Somebody put a post up the other day that said only Prince knew that the revolution would start in Minneapolis. And in many cases, that's been going on for quite a while here in Minneapolis, where we've been at the forefront of the race issue in this country, meaning, or the racism issue in this country. There is an extreme light being shined on that, because again, it has no basis in any kind of fact. It is doctrinal. It comes from some old belief systems that have their roots in the same energy that we had going on the last time Uranus was in Gemini, which was World War II. And so again, I believe that we see repeat patterns, and you can go back and check that. If you don't believe me, you actually will find out that I am telling you the truth, that there actually is historical data to back up that astrology is a map, and that there is cartography that we should be paying attention to, as well as the energies, but that this particular time is multiple timelines converging all at once. And all of that being examined, because when Pluto is in Aquarius, the people take control back every time. Go look it up. So the last time was the French and the American Revolution. Time before that had something to do with religion. I think it was the Protestant religion, like Henry VIII, maybe. Henry VIII, as I'm doing this, historically, is one of the timelines we should pay attention to, and that I have always believed was way more important and a bigger deal than he beheaded whatever, 7 or 8 of his wives. 7, I think. Um, it's a way bigger deal. So, um, religion getting a new look is also part of this time. And so we have had on this planet or with humanity, we have not lived with abundance for all yet. And we are interconnected now in ways that we were only connected energetically before. It's why I believe you see the same basic patterns repeated in mythology and um, there was an energetic connection there. And then I also believe we're star seeded. So I think we have some connections to some things. Ooh, I got pinched on that one. I got shot in the pinky. Um, so everybody has to go on their own search for that. But most of you who work with me are in that school of thought. So we are um, not alone here, and not everything that we believe to be true about the human race is true. So, ever evolving science and ever evolving humanity. And again, the stars will tell you this is time. So, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? And what even comes up for you when you think about that? Like, if you were to fully accept that, and if you have fully accepted that, what's your practice around being able to withstand such a big shift? Why do you think you came here to be such a big part of that big shift? What is it that you specifically are? We're going to have to leave the owl out here. Having coming up for you right now, and I'm asking you that genuinely. If you're listening to this, I'd love to actually hear from you guys. Like, what is coming up for you right now? What have you been facing since these energies, let's just say since the Mars back on July 4th? Really thinking as we go into this eclipse, what it's been like for you, what the different periods that we've moved through has been like for you. Has it been more intense than usual, or are you not feeling that? Um, have the people around you been okay, or has that been more intense? Um, Archangel Michael's stone here, such a light for all my violet flame practitioners. Oh, look at that one. That's a really good one. I'm not selling it. Personal collection. I do have some great sigilites that people can make into jewelry though. So if you are looking for one, I have cabochons that are ready to be made. And I bet we could even do a class on that coming up here if you wanted to. This new moon again is in Leo. That's fire energy. Um, there are some people that are getting a call to work with fire, but me particularly, like, I think that water personally is probably a better counterbalance to this energy, and earth. And the crystals are very earth energy, which is why I'm going to change out the crystals. And I'm not exactly sure 100% what I'll use yet, but I will fill you in on that when we actually set that tomorrow. But for today, we're taking down that first 19 days. I left this up the entire time I was gone. Merlin was not around a whole lot actually while I was gone. So he's back to the sound of my voice, and there's a definite kind of connection there that's different than other animal connections that I've had before. And it's also not the exact same energy that I have with Stella and Jasper. They're wonderful, but they're different. They're different. And so it's going to be an interesting journey playing out here with three black cats as opposed to having the dogs. Later today, after I get back from the grocery store, I am cleaning my entire house, but I'm doing it very slowly and intentionally. I'm regridding not every single thing, but all I have to do in my house is move a few things. And then I need to do a deep cleanse in the house and get it ready for ourselves first, and also for new people to come in. I've had some beautiful new interactions already since being home. So I want to thank those folks for coming in and invite more people to come in. It's a great time to come in and do uh, an updated, intuitive, just check in and um, channel. And those who like cards, we can use cards. If you don't want to use cards, we don't have to. That's your personal choice. Also, if you haven't done the crystals for a while, it's a good time to revisit your crystals right now. Earth and water energy here. And yeah, talk about what is needed upcoming individually and collectively. Um, there's the grandmothers. And also, October is going to be a really beautiful experience if I can get enough of you to be interested in coming to that. And I made that really reasonably priced at $288. So um, it's a 3-night, 4-day adventure where we're going to end those of you that want to at the headwaters in Itasca State Park. I am also probably, weather permitting, going to go do the trolls, and anybody who wanted to come with could either caravan if we all wanted to go, or come with me. And then we'll have what I offer is a lot of loose activities, and then some energy healers will be there, myself included. So on down times, if somebody wants a 30-minute energy healing or intuitive session or breath work or whatever, we can do that. And I'm willing to do whatever people want in the evening, but I'm open to interpretation on that. It has a sauna that's very much like the one we had in the fall. And it has the kayaks and the canoes come with the rental. It has fire pits. It has a hot tub. And then it'll be October. So it'll be a beautiful time for a cold plunge experience, but not so cold that it's 32 degrees. So it'll be somewhere in the middle for people who wanted to experience that. You would have the sauna. And again, it's a beautiful water and earth practice. And we did it back in February. So if you came in February, this would be a great retreat to help close that portal and open a new one. Um, And if you didn't come in February, it is still a great time to cleanse yourself and open up new portals right before we move into the colder season. And by October, some big things will have shifted. So it'll be a great time to gather together and heal individually and collectively. and I think I can have 12 of us total. So I really would like 11 at $288 a person. And it can be co-ed or people who want a room together. And then there are a couple collective spaces for people who are coming singly. So the rooms have to go to couples or two people coming together. And then the rest of us will be in collective rooms. And yeah, I am feeling really good about that experience. So, um, mm, peace from my home. A lot of real magic stuff. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Piece. Look at this as a piece that I was gifted. Um, and it, gosh, if it doesn't look like it, Scott, it looks like ancient. It's also fire energy. From here, it actually looks like a vase, like an ancient vase that's been carved. It's got a flower right in the center. Almost looks like a pumpkin head. Looks very intentional. Probably is. So, after doing the work in pipestone, a lot of my pipestone pieces are breaking. That's really interesting to me as well. That kind of stuff happens to me quite a bit. Like tools that I've had will break, and I will either be able to share pieces or um, do ritual to give back to the earth there. And that one's an interesting one because the pipestone is the stone of peace. And we really kind of need that energy right now. Also, some of the crystals that I've had out here will be available for sale. I did that intentionally. There are some that are mine from my collection. And then there are also some like the black tourmaline and the these jets. Jet, if you haven't gotten them, it's a form of coal, it's petroleum. And it's super, super light. So it's light weight protection, not heavy protection. And it's petroleum. So that's fuel. So it's moving protection energy. And there's a lot that's been happening around coal this year. And there is a lot happening around um, fossil fuels and energy. And that will be one of the big shifts that we will live through, most likely. If you're here, you're about to live through a shift in energy consciousness. And it will also be, it will be internal and external because it's a mirror. Put that one down. It will be internal and external because it's a mirror. And so the kind of energy we use or understand outside of ourselves is about to change, and inside of ourselves, it is already changing for many of us. I had a Vogel at the center of this. Powerful. 108, baby. Also had a peridot here. One of my pieces that came from Arkansas. Here's the heart I was holding from the river experience in Arkansas. This was at the center. This I found in my digging for crystals. See, it's fire on the wood. And we ended up having a lot of forest fires. So when you're setting a grid for planetary awareness that's abundance for all, and that happens, you didn't cause the fires. You may have anticipated it, but it may be that those fires lead to something that needs to be exposed or healed. We don't know for sure. We have to be having faith that our energetic process is helping. That's like Sekhmet's the Ayara. This one was out here, the sunset titanium. This is my solar plexus stone. I got um, through a channel, I got the message quite a while back. I had a group of stones that I worked with. I do not have those all separated out anymore. Some of them may have even broken, but some of them I still have and I'm working with. And then the Turkish amethyst, this Turkey is Gobekli Tepe, that ancient site. And so I will be regridding my house for this new moon. And then I also will be regridding out here. And I think this is going to stay out. This is, depending upon what side you look at it, one side it's the devil, and one side it's kind of a Taurus. And then another side, when I snap the picture, it looks like a cat. It's a little harder to see. But when I pulled this out of Merlin's woods, it was laying on the ground, and I had to go back for it yesterday to pick it up after I did some release work out there and some ritual work out in the portal, um, because he's back from a very long portal run having to do with Avalon and what I would call returning right relationship back to the humans, and right relationship with soul back to humanity. Um, when that King Arthur myth is one where magic was separated from the kingdom, one that we find over and over again in human mythology. But um, that was a king made decision to separate people's higher self power from themselves. And when people have their higher self power, there isn't any good reason for all of the power over dynamics. So I do not think that we will get to a point where duality goes away. I don't even think that that's this game. I think what we're doing is bringing a level of awareness and exposure in order to epochally change this. And I think it's written in the stars. I think we came for it, and there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do about it. And that part of it in the end of this is going to make it much easier to be whatever the next version of what humanity becomes is, because it's been a long time since we've actually evolved, and we do evolve. Um, the science, no matter what, is going to point to the evolution or extinctions of species. And so there's already some genome changes happening in the human race, and there will continue to be, especially with the onslaught of technology and changes to energy that are going to be coming online. That stuff is here for the most part, whether or not we can see it all. And we right now are going to um, walk across that bridge by accepting what is loving to come in and releasing things that aren't. And however much we do of that will dictate what that next chapter looks like and what it is we create, because we're always creating it. We're always part of the source process that's happening. And so there isn't any question whether or not we're going through huge change with whether or not you believe in the astrology or not. It's been accurate. And so it doesn't take a rocket scientist, so to speak, to believe that that trajectory will continue. And Uranus in Gemini is fast, very fast. But I also think that we've been fast for a very long time, and that we're going to eventually hear over the next couple of years, not do an immediate slowdown, but we are going to start to fall into what it is that we've been working for thousands of years at creating. And then a new chapter will begin for whatever it is, as I said, that we become. Some say Homo luminous. It's just word salad. Something more conscious and aware of itself and others than what we've allowed ourselves to create. So we continue to do that work vibrationally here from the land and um, from ourselves. And we really invite everybody to play along with us, whatever your version of energy is. If it's crystals and you want to learn more, come see me. All right, I got to go grocery shopping now. The grid is down, and um, a new grid will be on its way very shortly. I'll see you tomorrow.